Good morning, Flat Rock students. Today, I want to talk to you about the 500s, which is a section within our Dewey Decimal System. Now, the 500s are a pretty exciting area, and I think you're really going to enjoy the books that we have there. So let's dive right in. All right. Remember that the Dewey Decimal System is simply a way to classify books. It organizes it. So if you want books of a similar topic, they're all going to be right there together. For example, today we're going to be talking about animals as part of the 500s. They're all right there together. If you want books about penguins, it doesn't matter if the authors are different. All the penguin books will be grouped in the same area. So it's easy for you to find the books that you want to read. The area in our library that has the 500s is in the back wall by the window, and you can easily see that there is a sign here that says 500s. And so you know that this whole section right here is our 500s. Here's the sign. If you're not sure what's in that section, read. Right here it says science, and then under it is some examples of things that are under there: astronomy, math, chemistry, animals, geology, and so much more. The 500s have math, natural science, animals. More than that we'll see, but that's a general way to remember the 500s. It's math and science. Okay, it starts off at the beginning with general books like your Guinness World Records on science and math. So here's an example of a couple in that area: Science and Stuff and Extreme Science Experiments. Now, when I show you a couple books, those are just examples of the hundreds and hundreds of books that we have in this section. After that, you're going to move on to the planets. Now, I know everybody likes the solar system. You have books about all the planets, the moon, the stars, the galaxy, whatever you're interested in. Here's some examples, though. The universe and Pluto, why it was a planet and now is not, and galaxies. After that, you have measurement. And from there, you have time and length and years and all those math concepts that we enjoy learning about. We then talk about the earth, forces of nature. And then you can see that we have a whole series right here about volcanoes and waterfalls and canyons and mountains and rivers. Here's some examples: Earth's oceans and tsunamis, floods, and many more. From there, we talk about the weather. Now, I know a lot of you enjoy studying the weather, but you can see some of the books right here: storms and clouds and hurricanes and wind, tornadoes. That's just some of the different weather patterns that we see. Here's some examples of some of those books: lightning, hurricanes, and tornadoes. But again, there's many, many more. After that is dinosaurs. Now, all of this is in the 500s. There's a lot of books. Remember, the 500s are math and science. Now, the dinosaurs, I put a sign down there just so it's easy for you to find it, but the dinosaur books are all right in here, and you can get any of those you like as well. Moving along to the back wall where the window is, and the first thing I want to point out here is that in our library, wherever you are, books running along the top are just to show you some examples of books in that section, and you absolutely can check those books out anytime you want to. So if you see books that are up along any wall, yes, you can check them out. They are available. These are just some of our brand new books that we've just gotten in that are in this section. Okay, so this is mapping the ocean. Can you imagine that? Getting under that ocean and mapping it? Sound. This is more about the ocean, and this is one of our fun animal books. Now, all of these books are nonfiction. They're true. They give you facts and information, but in lots of fun and exciting ways. All right, this is now that back wall still underneath where those books were I was just showing you. And you have biomes. These are different parts of our planet, like deserts, tundras, grasslands, forests, different ecosystems. Those are the books that are right back there. Here's some examples. The Amazon rainforest and grasslands and desert food chains. Underneath that, we start animals. So any animal you might see in the zoo or might not see in the zoo, because we've got bugs and all kinds of animals. But it starts right here. And you can see this book standing out here, my first visit to the zoo. But there's all kinds of books that are starting us out. For example, we have a whole series of slowest animals, strongest animals, most disgusting animals. There's even more in that series. Or it's a fungus among us. After that, we have more books about animals, and there's all kinds of books in this section. The stinkiest, the fastest, the strongest, lesser spotted animals, animal heroes, and animal behavior. Anything doing with animals, that's part of science, and you're going to find it in this section. Okay, moving over to the side, you have books. If you can see any of these titles, you see that we have a lot of spider books. You've got scorpions, black widows, wolf spiders, orb weavers, and more. Here's a couple examples, but can you tell the difference between a bee and a wasp? We have books on those topics too. Moving under there, you see that we have books about sharks and catfish and frogs and seahorses, anything that lives in water. Here's some examples of those: amphibians, frogs. And underneath that section is reptiles. And I have that noted with a sign as well, so you can easily find these sections. But snakes and chameleons, and Fly Guy presents snakes right here. But you can just look on the spines and see the titles of books. You can use your shelf marker to take it out if you want to check it out and see if it's one you want to read. And you see right down here on all the spines are the call numbers. So if you look one up in Destiny, you'll know how to find it on the shelves. Moving on from the amphibians and reptiles section, we are moving into birds. You can see we have snowy owl invasion and penguins, and here's some other books we have: the roseate spoonbill and the kakapos and the penguins. And then we have rodents. Those are not my favorite, but you can find all kinds of books on rodents, like bats and the platypus and naked mole rats. And then finally are mammals. That's that very last section in the 500s. It's on the top and the bottom, and you have all kinds of mammal books in that section. Some of them read like fiction books, but they're true, and I think you're really going to enjoy checking them out and reading books from the 500s. Here's some more that are on the bottom. This was one of our South Carolina Award nominee titles a year or two ago, so lots of great books in this area. Finally, here's three more just to challenge you that are there in the mammal section about grizzly bears and the search for Olinguido and a seal named Patches. You can read the true story about this seal. So just as a review, the zeros, all of this within the Dewey Decimal System. The zeros had your almanacs and encyclopedias, your general books. 100s were philosophy and psychology. 200s, that's where your religion books were and mythology. 300s had your social studies. Remember, the biggest part of that section was your fairy tales. Our 400 section is small, and that was languages. And then today we talked about the 500s, which is math and science and everything in there. Remember, we had math, we had calendar years, we had the planets and dinosaurs, we had natural biomes and habitats, and all the animals that live on the earth. Thank you for watching today. I hope you have found some books in the 500s that have interested you and that you're going to want to check out.